Hi.
Hi, how are you?
I'm doing very well. What's up with you?
We're just rehearsing. We
Okay.
just actually we just finished. We were just finishing up.
All right. Just wrapped up.
How are you? What is your name? I'm sorry, no one told me anything.
Oh, I'm Riley. I'm with Rock 102.1 KFMA in Tucson.
All right, hi Riley, nice to meet you. I'm Claudio.
Claudio, awesome. It's really great to meet you. Finally, I've been
Oh,
doing a lot of digging around online, doing a
all
lot of
right, right
background
on.
research into you. What's your normal practice schedule like?
We usually try to get in here around like 10 o'clock in the morning or 11 o'clock, 10 to
Yeah.
11. And we just rehearse the set once. Normally if we haven't seen each other for a while, we'll hit like problem areas first, and then
Mhm.
we'll get into like trying to run the sets a few times. We try not to go over like once a day because we don't want to beat the set up. We want,
Right.
it's like we want it to just kind of have like a life of its own. Like I think some of the charm in playing live are the
Yeah.
mistakes. So
And keeping it really organic and like
right,
natural
absolutely.
feeling. Well, you clearly have been keeping yourself very busy, and you've got a big year for 2022. So we're less than a week away from the Great Dystoria Tour, and there's a new album coming out in the springtime.
Right.
So I would like to kind of start there because something I find so fascinating is this ability you have to marry music and narrative together and building it over the course of years. So May 27th is when Baxis 2, A Window of the Waking Mind, will be released. Can you tell me a bit more about this second installment and kind of where it falls in line with the Armory War saga that you have going on?
Oh, okay. Well, that second part I can't tell you.
Okay.
Because
Can't delve too much.
it gets sort of revealed as subsequent stories kind of come out.
Okay.
But part two of Access is, in the first story, we sort of we establish who our two new main characters are with Sister and Creature Spider, Creature and Sister Spider, excuse me. And we sort of allude to the fact that they might have a child in their future. And this is where we sort of introduce their son and sort of the trials they have with themselves becoming parents, as well as being sort of these wanted outlaws. So yeah, it's just them kind of navigating that, and just kind of finding out what, their son has this sort of situation that they don't truly understand. And so they think that they have to cure it via like a pharmaceutical, like of some sort. But as the story plays out, we actually learn that he's far more advanced than any of them. So I kind of give you a little bit of a spoiler.
Yeah.
But you'll see. I mean, for those who are participating in the story, all that stuff will sort of be revealed. But as far as like music goes, it's really kind of just an extension of the things that I've experienced in the past several years, like becoming a dad, navigating the crisis we all sort of been a part of, and so that finds its way into a lot of the material. So yeah.
That's something I was kind of curious about because when it comes to science fiction, the topics of pandemics or quarantines, societies factioning themselves, those are themes that you frequently see in science fiction. So has like what we've been going through changed how you view the stories you try to tell through your music?
I mean, it certainly has an effect, but there's nothing like that in the story. So yeah, that's, but of course, like, I like to take a lot of my experience and use that as the foundation of the fiction that I'm about to tell, so yeah, and that's always been the case with a lot of the Coheed stuff, especially like when I sort of look at it objectively, and I think of like that first Amory Wars arc from when you think story-wise, it's Year of the Black Rainbow to Good Apollo, No World for Tomorrow. I really see that as like myself, an adolescent coming into adulthood, and the trials and confusion that you have to navigate in that sense, right? Like that's what that body of work, I think, when I look at it, represents. It's me growing up. And the Vaxis story arc is very much now me as an adult and trying to navigate that situation as a parent. So yeah, but yeah, daily life it definitely affects the story that I'm going to tell.
And a lot of those are universal truths in a way for just the human existence, like, navigating the adolescence and navigating changes that come when you become an adult, and especially becoming a parent. So when did you become a father?
About 7 years ago.
Oh,
Well,
awesome.
actually 7 years ago. It'll be 8 come June 6th. But yeah, it's a extremely rewarding. It's like the greatest thing I've ever created. His name is Atlas, and I say it. But he is very much a big influence of all, of these stories that I'm telling now, and yeah, I just think that that's so cool, that he's gonna grow up, the muse of this piece of work.
Is it something that you hope to does he understand, I guess, at 7 going on 8, does he kind of understand how he's inspired you?
He does not, no. But I tell him all the time, that you are a big part of this. All this is you. And, but yeah,
Yeah.
he will understand that one day.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Like
in
he's
time
obsessed with his things, and that's great.
Watching them develop their personality and stuff is always so exciting. So this is kind of a weird bump, but we're in kind of an era where listening to an album in full, let alone in the order the artist designed it, isn't the norm anymore. And there's some artists who have asked streaming services that their tracks not be shuffled. And I'd kind of like to hear your thoughts on that topic, since you do create these narratives in your music.
It's everything is so subjective. I mean, sure, would I like somebody to experience my record as, as I intended it? Absolutely. But, I don't listen to records in consecutive orders, so it doesn't really bother me. I mean, I think the songs are, they're these self-contained messages, and sure, as a full body, like they tell, there's one cohesive thread, but, I think the songs are, they can speak for themselves. And I think, however the listener chooses to sort of digest them is really up to them. I'm not, it doesn't.
You're not going to demand listen to it in
No.
order.
Oh, no. And which is funny, right? Because this is like a chronological piece of work, right? But it doesn't,
Yeah. I mean, what's more important is that they're being exposed to these ideas and this music. And
I think so. Yes, absolutely.
So kind of going off of that, the singles you've released off of this upcoming album, can you tell me a bit of what made you select like Shoulders to be your first single released from Bax's 2?
I think it was just the enthusiasm from like the camp, whether it was management or the label or, my, the one of the producers on the record. Everybody just seemed really like this was an obvious gateway. And me being, like in this band now 20 years, I was totally receptive to whatever the selection would be, because, I know, it might be hard for me to see, being 20 years into this thing, what is the appropriate gateway. And, so yeah, I think it was really just excitement, and I think, I think the message is kind of clearer in that song than maybe.
And the video for it really is striking. I love just like the imagery with the red, and it's a complex feeling when you watch it.
Oh, right on.
I always appreciate. So along with this new album, I saw that there's a pretty darn cool box set that you are releasing. Right. Will you tell me a bit more about some of these items that are included? There was one that caught my eye, and at first I was like, what am I looking at here?
Right. Okay. Well, so like now with this arc, the idea is with every record to put out the accompanying illustrated novel or novella as well as including a relic from the story. So the first part, Unheavenly Creatures, it came with the book that told what the story was about. It had illustrations that were very realistic looking, very cinematic, beautiful art by a fellow by the name of Chase Stone. And then with that came the mask, Creature, one of the characters' masks. And so in this one, we decided to do something a little different. And we decided to include a quintillion speaker containment vessel. And so in the story, these creatures are being sort of cataloged in these sort of circular, containment vessels. And so what we did is to try to mimic what the vibe was. We included a plasma bulb inside. So when you kind of open up this vessel, the light sort of emitting from it kind of resembles what a quintillion speaker would sort of look like. Now, the creatures are actually much larger than the vessels that they travel in, because they can expand and contract in ways that humans can't. But yeah, that was the idea, was to try to do something very unique that you can only get in this box.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Very, very one of a kind type box set. So you did tour in the second half of 2021. Am I correct?
Yes, we did tour some, and we did a cruise.
But you're already ready to hit the road again. Like I said, we are a week away, or is it less than a week away? The 16th, I know, is the start of your tour, so really soon. And you are going all over the place for the Destroyer tour, and it's only over the course of a month. Like you said, you've been doing this for 20 years, but how do you prepare for a trek like this, where you are just boom, 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 city to city, going East Coast, West Coast, Midwest, back down to the South in such a short amount of time?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of it is really kind of rehearsing. That's about it. I mean, it's, we've been doing it so long that it just feels like second nature, in terms of like packing. I mean, that's, clothes, whatever essentials we feel like would keep us pacified in the downtime. But for the most part, it just feels normal to kind of get up and go. So yeah, I mean, the only thing is really just preparing yourself for the endurance you need when you're on the stage. So
I can imagine. Yeah, it takes probably a lot of energy, and there's probably, do you still get that adrenaline rush when you hit the straight stage, even after this many years?
I think so, yeah, especially when the audience is super receptive. Absolutely. I mean, that's exciting. I mean, nothing is like that. That's where I kind of feel like I'm my most normal, if that makes any sense. Yeah, I do get very excited.
That is a very, very interesting concept, to feel like you're most normal and, complete when you're in front of a mass of strangers.
Yes, very true. Well, I don't see them because the hair covers my
face.
But just playing music with my friends, it's a really interesting source of communication. I mean, it's how I learned how to communicate with people, is like trying to navigate obstacles within a unit, like within a band, like probably much like someone on a baseball team or something like that. It's or it just for me, it's a source of communication that's so rewarding. I'm not so sure I can describe it. So so being up there is important for me, and I'm glad we're going out. So
yeah, well, and we're very grateful that you are going to be coming right here to Tucson, playing at the Rialto Theater, wonderful local theater right in downtown. And this is your return to Tucson. You've been here before. Do you know when the last time you were here in town?
I'm having a hard time remembering, but I
feel like I want to say 2016, but I'm not positive. I've lost track of time over these last few years.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it is tough to say, but I do know that I think I visit a toy store in town. Like when touring, I develop a list of like vintage toy stores.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, and so Tucson's actually one of the cities I'm excited to hit, because I'm pretty sure on my chart there's a store there.
Yeah, Fourth Avenue. I'm pretty sure I know what you're talking about. We have a really
Right
cool
on.
vintage toy store. So what type of collector are you for
I
vintage
mean,
toys?
I like,
And
I'm more of a impulsive collector. Like, I just like to see stuff that, I grew up with and it excites me. And then I grab like He-Man or
yeah.
G.I. Joe or something like that. I don't really have the space to display stuff. I do have places to store it, but that's not fun.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, I just, it's more of an impulse. Like
Yeah.
I like to go down memory lane, if you want to call it.
Yeah. You see it, you love it. Yep. Coming home with me.
Yeah.
I hear that. So your the Great Destroyer tour ends before your album release. So can you tell me a bit of, I mean, you don't have to delve too much or divulge too much info, but kind of what set list can people coming to the Rialto later this month expect?
Yeah, like definitely hints of the new record for sure. But primarily we're gonna just kind of play stuff that, because again, we haven't been touring all that much, and Tucson's probably city, yeah, we haven't been to in a while. So we're gonna play some familiars. But yeah, we're definitely gonna hint towards the new record and maybe possibly play some surprises from it. So
Ooh.
we'll see. Yeah.
I like the sound of that. So do you have any kind of other plans on the agenda? Because it's pretty much you have this tour, you have the album release May 27th. Is there anything else you can share with what's coming up for you in 2022?
I mean, probably more touring,
Mhm.
directly after the record releases, probably through the summer, probably some stuff abroad. At this moment, nothing's really nothing's been confirmed, but I know that
Mhm.
it's being talked about. So it's definitely touring, definitely supporting
Yeah.
as much as we can.
Awesome. Well, will you just share with me again the details for the upcoming album, and where people can get some more information about, like, pre-order and stuff like that?
Yeah, I mean, so yeah, it's the next record in the Vaxxus 2 2 storyline, and you can find right now the only thing I think that's up is the deluxe set.
Mhm.
And that's available at coheedandcambria.com. But yeah, the next record, I believe it comes out in May. I can't remember the date, to be completely honest. I'm definitely not the guy to ask for that. So.
27th.
Oh, right, there you go. Or May 27th.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, for Coheed fans who really do like embrace all the dimensions of what we do, this is going to be a very exciting story for them, because it starts to really show it. Secrets start to kind of come out, and sort of reveals, like, helps to sort of give you an idea of where we are in Vaxxus, because at the moment Vaxxus is, the name Vaxxus, if I could get kind of nerdy about it, it's
Get
V
nerdy
is,
as you want.
yeah, so in the name, so V is for the fifth part of the story. Every sort of Coheed and Cambria thing has like some sort of numeric value, right?
Mhm.
But Apollo, Burning Star 4, In Keeping Secrets of Silent Earth 3. So Vaxxus does as well. It's just kind of buried it's encrypted into the name. So Vaxxus 5 for V, the Roman numeral, and the axis in which all of the Amory Wars will revolve around. So this is a really big event, for those who really participate in the Amory Wars. So, and I'm very excited about this one, because it's like I said, it's got a lot of twists and turns and a lot of cool reveals for those who are into it.
Yeah. Something I had just noticed, I was creeping around on your Twitter account, and how do you feel when you see people like getting like tattoos based off of your art? Like, what does that feel like for you?
I mean, it's definitely far beyond what I had expected for Coheed and for the concept. I mean, it's so rewarding. It's so exciting to, I mean, I'm a fan. At the heart of this, I'm a fan of stuff. I mean, I'm a fan of Star Wars. Like I said, He-Man, whatever. I grew up like playing with toys, being a fan of things, and I wanted to create my own stuff. And to then see it, like, it touched somebody so profoundly that they want to share their body with it, is like, again, it's just far beyond what I had anticipated. And it's so cool.
Yeah.
I'm so lucky. So
I can imagine. Well, Claudio, I am so grateful I got to have this opportunity to chat with you. So the dates to remember, May 27th, Vaxis 2 will be out, and February 20th, KFMA presents Coheed and Cambria right downtown Tucson at the Rialto Theater. And we are very much looking forward to having you return to our wonderful city.
awesome. Well, thank you for having me.
Yeah, well, what do you have for plans for the rest of your day? So is it a wrap for a rehearsal, or are you going back at it?
Yeah, we're done.
Oh, cool.
We're actually in Brooklyn right now. I live in this neighborhood, and I'm just gonna walk home.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Nice little stroll. And what's the weather like there?
It's I mean, everybody here's complaining because they're from California, but I love it.
You don't mind it.
Some aren't, to be honest, some aren't, but you know, that's all I hear all day is complaining about.
Right. Well, if you hear people complain about it being cold in Tucson, that always gets under my skin. It's 53.
Right.
Not that bad. Well, thank you so much again. And I hope you have a great rest of your day. And we're really looking forward to seeing you on the 20th.
Cool. You too. Thank you for having me again.
Of course. Take care.